There's like a C handle.
Yeah, I wish I could take credit for that.
Demi?
Yeah. Yeah,
She knows what she's doing, clearly.
100%. Yeah. Grab it, pick it up.
You're gonna understand at some point. You're gonna pick now that we've had this conversation, you're gonna find a mug somewhere and you're gonna pick it up and be like, "My hand doesn't fit that," or like, "That doesn't feel good," or you know what I mean?
The crazy thing is that my attention to even that detail is
It's
okay. One
lost.
one time, Demi set up a scavenger hunt
Mhm,
in our house.
mhm.
Maybe it was for our anniversary, or maybe it was my birthday. I can't remember, but it was just like there was a clue, and there was this clue with a quote. That
Mhm.
was the clue,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I'm looking everywhere. I'm like, I don't know what this means. So I just gave up, and I went and sat on my couch. I'm just like turn the TV on. Next to the TV, there's a picture frame with that
With
quote
the
in it.
quote, yeah.
I've never seen that before. I did not even know it existed.
Well, that's the first
And
thing
she
I thought of when you said there was a quote. I'm like, "Well, obviously you have something in your house that has that quote
Yeah.
written down."
It's just been there for 2 years.
So it's just out of sight, out of mind, basically.
Yeah.
Also, I find it a little bit crazy that you were like, "I don't know what this quote is. I'm gonna go sit down and watch TV now."
Yeah, I'm done.
That's a crazy
Yeah.
trajectory in
I'm
my
gonna go
opinion.
chill. Well,
Like
that was like my I give up. Ugh. Sit on the couch.
and, like, was Demi present for this
No.
experience? Thank God,
Yeah.
because if she
That
saw that
would've been embarrassing.
yeah.
She's like, "You're quitting?"
I'm not good at puzzles either,
When I can't
so
find things though, my go-to is to ask Demi, and then, like,
and then what are you gonna
she
do?
set this up, so I can't ask the person I usually
She's
ask.
not even around.
Yeah.
That is a problem. Not a problem. In that very particular scenario, that became a problem for you.
You're like, "Well, how often do you ask her for it?" Just start picking apart our marriage?
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, well, if you want to do an introduction, who
Okay.
you are, where you're from, what you're about, and then we'll just go from there.
What I'm about?
Yeah.
That's a pretty big question.
Well, we got all the time. So,
Alright. Okay. Okay. Alright. Well, I guess I would start with my name then. So, my name's
no, do that last.
Okay. Alright. I'm Brittany Brown. New friend of you, actually. New and great friend
Very
already.
recent.
Yeah, very recent. I own Citizen Cafe and Bakery, and I would say that's largely what I'm about because my biggest thing in my life, the biggest thing in my life is community.
Mm,
It's my favorite part of life. And I say that as an introvert, as we were just talking about. I'm so like Demi, where one on one, this is great.
mhm,
As soon as a crowd, I like to have the place that people go to.
right.
And then I like to observe and facilitate and like, around,
Mhm,
but not actually be a part. I like to sit down at a chair and around, when there's lots of people and everyone's just talking. It's just like, oh, there's a lot of, I can't handle, I got to get up. I can't handle this. So I like to build spaces for
mm,
people to come to. And I think that no matter what it was, whether it was Citizen or anything else, that would be my number one goal is to just like build the walls for people to come and be free and just casual and chill and happy and content. And then they can go about and, do their life and then come back and chill and be. So I would say that that's what I'm about if you're going to ask that question.
Have you ever been or I mean, have you always been an introvert?
Always, because 'cause I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest of a like, I have 2 half brothers and 1 brother, so that's our extended family who would always get together every summer, I am the youngest of them. Well, now there's many babies, so I'm definitely not the youngest anymore, but of that crew. So, no one cares what the younger kid is doing. Like, a lot of the times we would play hide and go seek at night, and then they would just go in and watch a movie, but I'd be it, and then I'd have to find them, but they weren't there to find. So, like, maybe I was, like, a forced introvert because
Like, I suck at this game.
I can't find anybody. And honestly, that might have only happened once, but let me tell you,
It
that is the
stayed.
only game of hide and go seek that I remember, is when everyone left. I don't know if they were tired of it, I didn't get the memo.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so I think that had a lot to do with it, just being the youngest kid and, like, nobody wants to hear what you have to say for the most part, and I don't mean that in, like, a degrading way amongst myself, it's just it is what it is, right? The
Mhm.
bigger kids don't care what the younger kid has to
Right.
say. And then I think that just, like, continues to go and go. I also switched from a public school to a Catholic school really young, and I always felt apart because I didn't have that identity. So
What
I
do you
think
mean?
that like, I never identified with Catholicism.
Mm.
So to go from a public school to a Catholic school at a young age, and then a lot of the families there were a part of the church community, or whether or not they were, I felt like they were, and I felt like I wasn't. Do
Yeah,
you know
you
what I
just
mean?
weren't part of the group.
No, I don't think I ever was. And again, I think a lot of this, somebody else from the outside would be like, "That's not true. That story's not true." But certainly that's the story that I identified with,
Mhm.
which is why I create spaces for people to come to,
Right.
right? Just so that nobody feels othered or like they
I
don't
see.
belong. Like, I'm gonna give you some place to belong to. If it's for 2 minutes, or if it's for 3 hours, or if it's for many times over and over, or just one day, like, I'll give you that spot to be a part of. And I might be off in the corner, and I might not talk to you, but I pre no, 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 no. It's nice. It's weird. It's weird being on this side, honestly, because, like, I'm so used to being on your side,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because, like, the espresso bar is, like, the same as this table. We're so far apart from each other. Not really, but, like, yeah, we are. We're pretty far apart. So, it's just like that, like that distance, I don't know, you're able to ask the questions and, like, really get to know somebody because 'cause you're in control of the questions.
Yeah.
And now I'm on the other side, and I'm like, "Ooh, ooh."
You know what's awesome though? Because I was gonna ask you, being an introvert, how do you go from being an introvert to being like, you know what, I want to bring people together,
Yeah,
and then just you just answered that.
yeah. No, but it also is everything that I was used to because my parents would always do that, like, when I was a kid, they had the party garage.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah, right? And then also my dad would always go to places like Citizen, but for their time. For example, the Smokers Lounge on 8th Street. I always reference this place, but it was literally just like 6 guys who sat around in a place that smelled well, it did smell, but it sold cigarettes and paraphernalia of, like, tobacco, and they would just smoke in there, and it was a different time, and I would go with. Oh, sometimes, a lot of times, like, the robin blue egg walls are, like, imprinted on my psyche, so I feel like I was there enough
Mm.
to take that in, and then also, if it wasn't there, it was somewhere else, and at the cabin, there's the shed, like, that was my dad's shed, and he was always in there, and everyone would go to the shed, and we would just sit around and just talk. He was always that presence that just brought people together. So I think I saw that over and over and over and the value of that. And I didn't know, like, I had no idea that I was doing any of this when I started the store. I didn't start it at 24 and be like, I'm doing this for because of my dad or because when I was a kid, it naturally unfolded that way, which I think is why I am so drawn to having the cafe. Like, it feels like there's nothing else that I should be doing,
Mhm.
Like, it's it's everything I should be doing, which is crazy because then your identity gets so wrapped up in your job, right?
Right.
Which is not a positive thing. So then you have to, like, separate yourself from that as being your identity. It was a wild
What if
experience.
okay, what if you looked at your phone, coffee shops, cafes are now illegal and banned. Now what?
I would build something else for people to come to, and I'd have to figure out what it was that they wanted to do when they got there, and
Right.
I'd facilitate it that way. I have a feeling. I always said I will be a project manager. If this all goes bust, I'm going to go to school and be a project manager because I
Mm,
think it's kind of the opposite of my job in a way, but also very similar. It's creating structure and creating programs that people align to and work, but it is I would say maybe like more of I don't know if this is true because I don't do it, but maybe more of a corporate end of it, and it's more of the logistical end of it versus when you own a business, it's the community and logistics put together, but I've always said, it's a good paying job, and if you're in the food industry, you might be aware that it's not necessarily the best paying job in the world. You don't normally do it to come out with $1,000,000. You do it because you're passionate about it and it's something that you are called to do.
mm,
Um, but in reality, would I actually go that route? Probably not. I don't think that I would. I think I would just create another space. But I always use whenever something terrible is going on in the world, or there always is, you know, I always like, for example, COVID or even when PSD was put on, like when the provincial budget said PSD was going to go onto restaurant bills, all of these little things where you're just like, "Oh god, what are we gonna do?" It's like there was cafes and bakery in all over Europe during World War II. We can survive this. Do you know what I
right,
mean?
right,
Like
yeah.
they've always succeeded against the worst odds. They've been
Mhm.
there. So we can do this, you
Mm.
know? Is that crazy?
No,
Is
it's
that,
not.
like, a bit much?
No, that's good. That's like a good mindset to have. I think because that's how my mind works.
Yeah,
I'm always just seeing the good. Like, it
yeah,
doesn't really matter what's happening externally,
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm a good, uh, what is like, I adjust well, I shift well, I pivot well.
Pivoting, that was a hot word in 2020. Yeah, you have to be able to adapt, pivot,
Yeah.
be okay with change, all of those things. Again, I didn't know that when I started the business.
How long ago?
12 years ago?
12 years. You're like a statistic now,
I know,
like a
like a good
very
one.
low good statistic. Well, I guess not good. Like, good for you, not good for the other 90% of businesses that aren't running anymore.
Okay, 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 okay. If we're looking at it that way. But on the spectrum of statistics,
Right.
I'm in the positive
Yeah,
direction here.
because it's like
Yeah,
50% of businesses in the first
yeah,
year, and it's like 70
that's
or
right.
80 in the first 5
Yeah, those
fail.
are those are correct numbers. That is
Yeah.
right. I know.
So, that's amazing. 12 years?
I know. We did it. Yeah, it's pretty wild when I look back on it. I think I'm so happy that I started it when I was young because it was such a grind. It
Right.
was staying up real late and waking up really early,
Yeah.
and sacrificing so many things like weekends and family events and friends' weddings and so many experiences. But I always had a goal. I was like, when I'm in my mid to late 30s, all I want is just free time to be available to me. It doesn't have to be all free time. Like, I need to work, I
Right.
love working. But I wanted by the time that I was like mid 30s to have a sense of freedom.
Mhm.
And I got that. So I had to start early basically.
Yeah.
But it was hard, it still is hard. Oh my god, it's incredibly hard. But it took a lot of experiences to get to the point where I think now it doesn't matter what's happening. I laugh in the face of chaos, destruction and chaos because a lot of things have happened to our shop, like we've been driven into. We've had water main breaks. We've had like, I was saying this to you and Demi, I have such a public job, whatever is happening in my life, the next day I'm showing up to work and presenting myself in, like, a public space. A lot of people do, but sometimes it can be overwhelming when, you know, somebody's just passed away and you have to show up the next day.
Right.
That's happened multiple times,
Yeah.
and so when situations arise that, I don't know, some people could say, "Wow, you're doing such a great job at not falling apart," basically. It's like, "Well, we're gonna get through this. I got through
Yeah.
every other day, so I'll get through the next day." But it took a lot. It took a lot of years to get there for sure, and experiences.
Yeah,
It's intense.
it's intense, but like it's so interesting. Like a entrepreneur or a business owner,
Mhm.
like they're not even living in the same world as other people, you know? Like they
They
don't
do,
they don't
yeah.
speak the same language. They don't
Yeah.
look at the blueprint of life the same.
No.
They don't look at
Yeah.
money and income that like nothing.
Yeah.
It's just like not the same. It's so different. The conversation and like the ideas and mentalities
Yeah.
behind what you're saying
Yeah.
that somebody who's never been there just isn't. Not that they're like, it's not like they're stupid or anything. They just
No,
have
no, no, no,
not
no.
been there
No.
to understand the
Yeah.
conversation that we're trying to have.
Yeah.
So like even just like being like, you have to show up still.
Every day.
Like, that is
Any hour
such
of the day. Yeah.
only owners of businesses
Yeah.
understand that,
Yeah.
you know?
Every day of the year. There's no time
Yeah,
off, you know.
right.
So, that's a lot of resilience.
Yeah.
It
And
builds
just like
courage
it builds your capacity to handle hard things. Like
completely.
that's what it does,
Yeah.
which is like when you first go through it seems like okay, this is a lot,
Yeah.
but then 10 years down the road, it's not a lot anymore,
It's not, and
you
it's
know?
so valuable.
It's so valuable for
Yeah.
life in general
Completely.
and just to be able to lead
My
and
favorite
help
part,
and
yeah.
turn other people into leaders
Yes.
because that's the hardest part is like teaching somebody to go through something you've never gone through before,
Yeah.
right? But being able to and like show, like I used to freak out like that too. I used
Completely,
to
yeah.
fall apart.
Yeah.
I used to sit in the back and just cry,
I've
you know?
definitely done all of those
Yeah.
things. Yeah.
And it's like, but it does get better. And
Yeah,
like you do get
100%.
those reps in and you
Yeah.
build your mental muscles
It's
to handle things.
exhilarating.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's like I guess, one of the lessons you learned early that was just kind of like, wow, I did not even know that was a part of this business.
I could answer that question so many different ways. Um, oh man, I could answer that so many different ways. There's different and as you say, like, being an entrepreneur is so all-encompassing. So there are so many different ways to answer that because it's something like it could be, I didn't know how, um I didn't know how close I could get to the crew that I work with, like, how much that I would care for them. Um, like, for example, we had an amazing staff member and we loved her, and when she passed away, I had no expectation for it to just, like, rock me in the way that it did, I was it was a wild experience, and one that taught me a lot about grief. And also, yeah, I didn't expect that experience to hit me as hard. I don't know why, like, that doesn't, looking back on it, obviously it would. I don't know, you just don't realize these things, and luckily now I can have a connection with her family, and it's always so lovely to see them. Or you could take it from a completely logistical side of the story where it's like, I didn't know that I would be basically in the business of repairing equipment,
Mm,
like, where it's like, my job is to keep 800 machines that are all life and death for the store, uh, alive and working for not only the business to thrive, but for your employees to be able to do their jobs and not hate everything about what they're doing.
right.
So that's a really broad spectrum
Yeah.
of things that I didn't know, which I think really encompasses, like, how much being an entrepreneur actually takes of you if you're doing it, I wouldn't say properly, but if you're doing it in the way that I do it, you
Mm.
know? So and also, I wouldn't have it any other way. That hard stuff is really, like you said, is really valuable.
What do you do when you are drained completely and you feel like it might be affecting the business because 'cause you're so drained?
There's different phases of that. There's different phases of that. So it depends on what I'm drained from. For example, when David had a brain aneurysm and I was, like, by his side, unable to work because your husband's in the ICU. That was me completely detaching and just trusting in the faith of my team, who we worked so hard and had built something together, and they were able to handle it, and that's huge, right? So that was me completely detaching, and that took, like, months for me to work through. Like, luckily, he survived and he made it through quite successfully, and in regards to how that could go in a short amount of time, um but even just having your worldview rocked like that, when all of a sudden a whole new experience, a negative experience is presented to you that you never knew could or would happen because you don't know what you don't know, and you're naive. That took, like, so much of me of figuring out how to function as a human being again. And then there's, like, the other type of drain where it's like you have your business crashed into, which takes a lot of work. You have, um, pipes bursting and all sorts of bad things that way, like, structurally, let's say. That is me laying in bed. There's always a laying in bed process, big time bed process, where I'm just like, I'm hoping that there's no sun outside, but if there is, the drapes are pulled and, like, the blankets are over my head, and I'm not doing anything, and that's that. And then, for example, this last time that something happened to our shop in January, I then took it one step further and I went to Regina for a weekend by myself. So I was like,
Mm.
I not only bed's not serving me, I need to leave. I need to get away from this place, but only temporarily and not far, just for a weekend and by myself. And that was great because my process of recovering from being so drained was going to their businesses in Regina and meeting those business owners and being treated to what they have to offer. That was such a boost. Getting out and, like, shaking my circumstances is a big one for me. Changing even sometimes, like, back in the day when I would be burnt out and it was affecting my business and I didn't have the opportunity to go anywhere because it's like you're in and you don't have, like, you're in the beginning of everything and you're there every single day. It could even be just taking a different way to work, just
Mhm.
driving a different block or, like, coming at the store from a different way, you know? It was just changing my brain chemistry a little bit to put me in a different place so that when I arrive, I'm not in the same mindset, you know? But ultimately, again, so many answers. There's so many when you go through 12 years of owning a business, you find a lot of different ways to
Yeah.
not be, to recover from that because it happens. And, like, going up to my cat, like, being in nature, like, always being in nature always fixes everything for me. So
Why nature?
it feels like a big breath of fresh air, literally and physically. It
Mm.
feels like as soon as you get into the trees or into the fields or wandering on a dirt road, just sitting in sunshine.
Are you like a barefoot, touch the trees
Yeah,
kind of person? Yeah.
very that. I've always really liked I didn't know this about myself, but my general manager he's one of my best friends, and we've been friends forever, since high school. And apparently I always really liked feeling things. Like, we would, like, walk around and I would, like, feel budding bushes or, like, tall grass or whatever. I just, like touching things. And I think that's really also a very baker thing, right? Because I use my senses a lot with baking, so it makes sense that I would like
Just
that.
tasting things out in
Yeah.
nature.
Yeah, but then also taking my shoes off, like, in the gym, I never wear shoes. I wear socks, let me be clear, and that's important to say, I think.
Is it? I don't.
You're bare Are
If you
you
come to
barefoot?
if you come to my gym, I'm
You're
barefoot.
barefoot?
Always.
Uh-huh.
People will make comments.
Yeah, and what
They'll
do
be
you
like,
think
"I've actually never seen you in shoes before."
I feel like with boxing, there might be a different mentality than strength
Definitely.
training.
Yeah.
If you go into it like a gym, and I'm not here to shame anyone. You know,
Okay.
like, some people would look
Why
at
are you coming
me
at me? Why are you coming at me?
some people would look at me without shoes and be like, "Put some shoes on," you know? And so but no, and then but a barefoot on turf, I don't know, there's something I think it's that feeling thing, and there's something very visceral to that sensation. But in a boxing world, I don't know, I kinda get it. 'Cause in the I practice yoga, like
Yeah.
Iyengar yoga, and I no socks or shoes there.
Yeah. Especially, like, I think more in the kickboxing world.
Yeah,
Kickboxing, jujitsu.
yeah. You're slapping.
Boxing, they're all wearing shoes. But
Now that you mention that,
I
yeah.
started in kickboxing. So when I transitioned into boxing, I just never put the shoes on.
That's me too!
Okay,
I
yeah.
started with Iyengar yoga. You don't wear socks or shoes. I go to the gym, I'm not wearing shoes.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to feel the ground?
You're not,
I
I guess, not there.
It's not there. There's like a
Yeah.
cushion. Even like bands, there's a cushion. And like, how am I supposed to ground it? How are we all grounding in here if we have shoes on? You know, like it's upsetting to me, the idea of it.
And the judgment you get, hey?
I personally don't feel any judgment. However, if I am not judging, but like feeling a sensational way about somebody barefoot on turf, I have to assume that there's somebody out there looking at my socks and being like, you know, you give what you get. So somebody out there is judging me. I know it. And that's okay. That's totally fine. This is the thing is I'm okay with it. I hope that the person who's not wearing socks is also okay with me being like, bold choice. Bold choice.
You know what I can't get behind is
What?
people who sleep with socks on.
Yeah, I don't get it. Again, I'm claustrophobic at the idea of it. Get tangled in your sheets.
What?
S Oh, okay, now I'm uncomfortable that we're talking about 2 totally why don't you like socks and a blanket?
You know what's interesting though?
What?
I don't like my feet under the blankets. So my feet have to be outside of the blankets, in the air. Because if I'm in the blankets, I get really warm, really hot.
That makes sense.
So, like, usually when I wear a I don't know.
Yeah, I would say that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Don't feel any judgment.
Like, it's like my torso
Yeah.
is covered and
Yeah.
sometimes, like, down to my knee. But, like, never my feet, ever. And then, like, to think of having socks under that too, I would just be, I think,
Too hot.
sweating.
Too hot.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very normal reason for not now I'm questioning my reasons, and I'm looking back on it, and I'm like, "Yeah, that is a bit weird to feel trapped by the socks more than just the heat from
Yeah.
the socks."
Yeah, what were you saying?
I feel
Okay.
trapped by the socks.
Okay, yeah.
Like fabric on fabric. There's gonna be friction where there shouldn't be, you know? Like
Okay.
it's a sensory thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just like, "I don't know, man. I'm just hot."
Yeah. Yeah. How did we get to that?
I have no idea. I'm really good at getting off topic, and tangents are wild.
Okay.
Feet Oh, right, the bear shoot in the gym, but, like, how did we even get to shoes in the gym? That's a great question. I have no idea.
That's what happens when you don't have any questions planned. You get off track like this.
It seems to work, though.
That's good. Um, okay, do you have a like culture, like your culture at your cafe,
Mhm,
but also like I guess like your leadership style
mhm.
to create that culture?
Yeah,
Because from when I think of anything like not just a business, but even a gym or even a parent,
yeah,
anyone who has leadership, has the responsibility of leading, whether it's a team or a group or
yeah,
I think everything does fall on them.
mhm.
Like when I go into a company and the employees are, maybe they are snappy, maybe
Yeah,
they're grouchy, maybe they're like I can already
yeah,
tell if the leader is
the work
good or not,
ethos, yeah,
you know?
yeah, for
Um,
sure.
but for you, I guess, like what culture do you try and keep there? And then how is that attached to your leadership?
Well, the culture that I the culture that we create there together is based in respect. I find that it doesn't matter what kind of workplace it is, and I've said this before, but, like, you give what you get, you have to be respectful. I treat other people the way that I would wanna be treated, and I do that in all sorts of different ways in regards to how I talk to people, the way that I handle situations, to the opportunities that I provide for people, or, I always want to have respect as the number 1, joy. Joy is super important. Nobody wants to eat food from angry people. It's true. You can taste it in the food. You can 100% taste it in the food. I think Nancy Silverton said that, and I'm gonna repeat it because that's super important when you're making food is the people happy. And, everyone has an off day. We don't need to be, like, smiling rainbows every single moment. But in the end, if you're being treated with respect and you enjoy your coworkers and you have fun together, that makes a huge difference in the product, right? And I always whenever I hire people, I'm always talking about how the coffee we serve is the commodity, but the feeling that people get when they walk in the doors is what we're selling. We want somebody to feel immediately welcome and comfortable as soon as they come in. And every crew member is a reflection of myself, right? So I'm big into extreme ownership. If one of my crew members fail, it's because I haven't taught them the way that they should be doing it, or I haven't followed up with training or done something,
Right.
it always comes back to me.
Yeah.
If there's a mistake from an order that, I didn't have as much to do with as maybe I should have. No, everyone has their own job, but, like, still, it comes back to me, right? So then it's like, if something goes wrong, which it inevitably will at some point, you can't bat 100? Yeah. Can't bat 100 all the time. I don't know why I'm bringing up sporting references here all of a sudden, but you can't. Then it's an opportunity to figure out where we went wrong and how we're gonna get there, you know? So, I think that that culture creates a positive work environment that
Mhm.
people want to be a part of because they feel heard,
Yes.
they have a good time. And I hire people, a lot of the times, you can train most things. You can't train a personality, right?
Right. Right.
So I need to make sure that any crew member that I bring in is a good fit
For your
for
culture.
exactly, or else what are we doing? It's just not going to work.
So how would you identify somebody's values, or obviously too when you interview somebody, people can lie, right?
Yeah.
So then how do you, if you could tell maybe their values don't align with your culture's values, or maybe they're just not, maybe they can become that, but they just aren't.
Yeah.
What do you do to nip it in the butt early?
Well, when you're interviewing somebody, yeah, somebody can lie. I think one of, uh, something that I can do quite well, I'm gonna toot my own horn here, is I have a good sense of when somebody's being authentic.
Mm,
Teach their own, but I personally don't jive with people who have masks on in some way or shape. I really gravitate towards people who are being themselves. They don't have to put on airs or anything like that. So that's the first thing that I look for. And it's nerve-wracking having an interview. It's not easy being the candidate going in and just being like, this is me,
yeah,
take it or leave it. So I don't expect that of them. But if I can glean some sort of who they are, I don't bring in people's resumes. I'll read their resume, see if I want to set up an interview because I found something in that resume that interests me. And then I meet the person and we just talk.
mm,
Because a lot of the times people will tell you situations, jobs, or experiences that aren't on the piece of paper, and that's what I want to hear. Right.
right,
So that's the first step. If somebody has gotten through and it wasn't the right fit for some reason or another, I mean, I'm not just, like, gonna get rid of somebody, I train them and give them patience, and I lead by example, so I try and set the example. Well, I do set the example, it's whether or not somebody picks up on it,
right,
and in the end, if it's not a good fit, it's pretty obvious to me and the other party that it's not going to work out,
mm,
right? And yeah, I would say that's probably how I would manage that because I'm not particular about people's personalities in a way where I'm like, I'm looking for a certain type, I'm looking just for somebody to be who they are and to be able to be a part of the crew in a harmonious way that everyone feels like it's like a dance, A good restaurant when you're in a busy rush, hopefully all the time, it's like having dance partners, everything's just seamless and it
right,
just flows, right? And that's the magic. So if we can make that happen as much as possible, that's the goal. And when there's a cog that's just like, I don't know, it just doesn't work, it's obvious.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's I just today actually I just finished it, a book on teamwork,
Oh, yeah.
um, and one of the chapters was talking about high morale
Yeah.
and how having high morale creates so much better efficiency,
Yeah.
so much better, just like how effective you are as a
Completely.
company
Yeah.
just by having high morale,
Yeah.
and then how you become a winning team.
Mhm.
And then it said, like, a winning team can't be hurt.
Yeah.
So it's like if you have the high morale and these issues come up,
Mhm.
you just brush them off.
Yeah.
But
Address it,
yeah,
fix it,
right.
brush it off.
But it doesn't, it's not like a mountain.
No,
It's just a little bump.
completely.
But when you have low morale, these bumps look like mountains.
Yeah.
And it was such a cool picture, like a good visual,
Yeah.
you know, and back to sports. That's what I was
It
comparing it
always goes
to.
back to
Yeah.
sports.
It's like if you're winning and you have high morale
Yeah.
and someone steals the ball from you, it's fine. Now let's make the adjustment, not
Yeah.
let that happen again.
Mhm.
But if you're losing and you have low morale and someone steals the ball from you, that is a big deal.
It is a big
And now
deal.
you might not come back from that one steal, you
Yeah.
know?
No, it's true.
And it was interesting anyways.
It's interesting, and I feel like have you not experienced that in one of your previous jobs?
yeah, definitely in my jobs,
that you've
like
had in the past? Yeah.
I've been involved with companies where I'm like looking around
Yeah.
and everyone hates their life, and I'm just like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm just like, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk bad about our wives
Ugh.
and
Yeah.
how much we hate our lives. Like, this is what I'm supposed to be here now for
No
the next
thanks.
30 years.
Yeah.
Like, get me out of here.
I always think about that in the same way, but it's never usually the team. It's usually me. I built my business on a lot of this is what not to do.
Mm.
And I don't say that in a way where the other business owners that I work for, like, didn't know what they were doing. I don't say that at all. We're different people, and I know how I felt during certain situations or experiences, and I'm not gonna do that again to somebody else, which I think is another really useful tool of starting the business at 24 is because I went from being a barista, a baker, a server, straight into owning it, right? So there's so many small little things that you don't know until you know, right? Where it's like you always need clean rice or you always need the lettuce there for lunch. You always need to not, to be spoken in a certain way. Like I I got fired once, which was a really good experience and maybe didn't feel great the day. I remember driving home. Well, it was so crazy, and that's the other this is the other thing. I don't know, like, I don't know how personal to get, like, I don't know I don't wanna, like, blow anything up or anything, but I was told by somebody, my boss, like, "Have a good Christmas." It was Christmas season, we're, like, shutting down for a week. Like, "Have a good Christmas." "Yeah, yeah." Paycheck is in the envelope. Got it. Good, good, good. Picked up my paycheck in the envelope, and I was fired in a letter. And it said that I didn't have any respect for authority. And I remember, I was young. I was 18, and I was just, "Oh, shit," you know? But actually, looking back, I don't have respect for people who don't have respect for me. And I think that by saying, "Have a good Christmas, see you later," firing me in a letter, and then giving it to me
Mm.
is, like, such a representation of, like, I don't have respect for people who don't you didn't even respect me enough to tell me to my face.
That's a wild decision. And
Right?
to talk to you like,
Like, I'm gonna see them next week?
yeah, that's wild.
So I think that's somebody who was maybe afraid of confrontation or didn't care enough, didn't care enough about me to, like, have that conversation, maybe didn't want confrontation. I was probably honestly the former. Um But it was a really good experience for me to have in the end to think, "I'm never
Mm.
ever gonna treat anybody like that." And
Yeah,
the series of like, I got fired for a reason, right? Like, the series of situations was a lot of, like, I'm being spoken to in a way that I don't necessarily agree with, which is very restaurant culture, if
yeah,
I was to put that in perspective of, kitchen life, it is a similar story that many people have, so not wild, and especially of the
yeah.
time, I was 18 a long time ago, but I remember thinking, I'm never gonna do that to him, but
Just because it is the way
mm.
doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah,
Just because everyone's experienced it doesn't mean, you know? I okay,
I could never do that.
one of the first restaurants I ever worked at, I worked for my own uncle who's Greek,
How was that?
very angry,
Yeah.
very angry guy. There's, like, things getting thrown across the
And he can
kitchen.
be angry because 'cause you're related too,
Yeah.
like, that's an extra, "I don't care if this hits this guy," I assume.
Heck yeah. Good times.
Good times,
Great
right?
cook, though.
That's the thing is, like, I can't discredit, someone for everything. It's just that was an interesting experience, and those types of experiences, yeah, really led me to, I can do this,
Mhm.
like, I can do this, and I can do it my way, and I can make it successful, and here we are 12 years later, and it's true, and I'm just proving it to myself. I'm not proving it to anybody else. This whole thing is just, like, proving to myself that I can do this.
Right.
It's the same thing with, like, anything that I do, whether it's work or strength training or gardening even. It's
You like
like,
gardening?
"Wha why are you looking at me like that?"
Like what?
That was a, like, so, like, oh.
Ugh.
Ugh, I can tell you don't like gardening.
I've never done it, but I could assume I wouldn't like it.
Why?
I don't really like getting my hands dirty that much.
Yeah, you wouldn't like it.
You know, I used to have an issue when I was a kid, or not even more, like, when my friends were playing in the mud, I would just watch, I'm like, "I'm not." And then when
Right.
I was in the trades,
Yeah.
I would wash my hands way too often.
Yeah. That's not gonna work. They're just gonna
Yeah,
get dirty again.
right.
I agree. I don't like to touch wood and metal. I'm not necessarily getting into mud puddles. I guess with gardening you kind of are. But there's like certain experiences I don't need to grasp onto in that way. But gardening, and I'm not necessarily good at it.
Okay.
I'm very much I can do something and not be good at it. Well, anyways, yes, there's a lot I'm not good at a lot of
I do a
things.
lot of that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's like a very yeah. So, I like gardening because isn't this funny? Because you get to grow things. Isn't that so simple?
Yeah,
You get to be, like,
that's nice.
one with the earth. No, there's something to it. It's pretty magical when you actually, like, get into
You
it.
know what's crazy?
What?
Because last time we talked,
Yeah.
you said you don't have a nurturing bone in your body?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Well, you're a liar.
Okay, that's true. Okay, that's true. I guess where I was coming from, I am not maternal like, my body has always known you can't have kids, like, from day 1, it's like, "You can't have kids, you're gonna die," and it's because 'cause I've got a condition, that's not just me making it up,
Right, yeah.
and, like, I'm totally fine with it, that's
Just
not a
sounds like
point
you're
of sadness,
exaggerating this, eh? Yeah,
and that's fine, and because I've always known that, I've never desired it. But I really if I was to think about it, I'm maternal in the way that I really love to take care of people in a different way. Like,
right,
I love being a leader. I love nurturing a crew of people. I have a hard time calling them staff. So I feel like staff is such a subservient word, and it's not. It really isn't. It
right.
is a defined word, and, like, it's a group of people who work in a company, like, it's a real thing. But I just feel like it's so not what
Yeah,
I'm trying to
like
do.
my staff. That's
My
my
staff,
staff.
like my servants,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I don't
I
like
could
it.
see what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's always like my team or my crew because I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't have what I have without them. 100%, Like,
Mhm,
there's no way. So they're so important to me. Um, so I have that avenue. My customers are another avenue that I, like, wanna take care of and wanna support and feel bad when I disappoint and all of that. And you know, it goes across the board in that regard. It's friends and family and all of that. I do it in different ways. And maybe I would like to do some sort of like teen program teaching them how to cook at some point or something, some sort of sharing, passing knowledge in that way. That is probably where my maternal aspect would come out
mm,
and feeding people in general. But the more natural way of having a child myself is just so off the table for me that
right.
I just, like, don't identify with that at all.
Yeah.
But again, very supportive of everyone and their choices. I just wanna make that clear.
That is funny. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, even how you worded it is interesting, it's like, it's almost like you talked to yourself to shut that part off or
Yeah.
something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what most people do for
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
it's like you, like, subconsciously prepare yourself for whatever the situation is,
Yeah.
you know?
100%. I did that with grief because it was coming up. Nothing is more certain than death and taxes. So
Mm,
you're going to be surrounded by it at some point. And I remember my first instances of grief, obviously, it was devastating,
right,
and took every part of me and destroyed me as it will again in the future. But cultivating a relationship with grief was something I had to talk myself through with being patient with myself because all emotions are gonna arise, you know, maybe all at once at the same time. One day you'll feel one thing and the next the other. Also in resilience where it's like, we're gonna get through this
Mm,
and we'll make it to the other side. And just slowly through different grief journeys, it's worked, talking to yourself and preparing yourself. And I think like creating ceremony is really important for me around death. And that also took talking into where it was like, we're instead of crumbling on the floor in sadness, which I've done before and will do again, but instead of doing that every time, if I can create a ceremony and make it a beautiful, uplifting, and positive thing
right.
on a day or a time or something, either it's private or with family or whatever it may be, I think that that really lightened the experience of grief or maybe changed it,
Mm,
you know?
yeah. Like your definition of it
Yeah,
or your experience of it.
exactly. So
I
now when it happens, it's like a different mindset that I had during my first experiences with it.
right.
Yeah.
That's interesting too. I think
Okay.
like even just you explaining that, I feel like without knowing it, I did that too because I don't usually go to funerals,
Mhm.
but I always go to celebrations of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I think of a funeral, I think of it as like this ceremony I don't want to be a part of.
I agree. Yeah, me
It's
too.
just like there's so many funerals I haven't went to
Yeah.
just because I don't want that to be my last moment
Yeah.
with that person is that we're all standing, being sad together.
Yeah.
It's just not like I have nothing again, like
No,
cause
it's
some
for
right,
some people. Some
right.
people
For some
really
people need
value
that.
it,
They need
and
it.
yeah, they find strength in it and
Yeah.
or whatever they do find in it.
So I've not gone to like probably like I've only been to 2 funerals to be honest.
And then you decided I've done this isn't.
Well, I went to one long ago,
Yeah.
my great grandpa's,
Yeah.
and it was like an open casket.
Yeah.
That made me
That
feel
is
some kind of way. And that's
100%.
all when I think of him, that's all I can think of is
Yeah.
seeing that. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm never doing that. If there's an open casket, I'm not going up."
Yes.
Like I decided that
Yeah.
in that moment. But then even funerals, uh yeah, I don't know the last one I went to the actual funeral.
I remember saying to myself at the last funeral I went to, saying to myself, "That's the last funeral I'm gonna go to.
Yeah.
I'm not it's not for me." And I don't want anyone to ever think that it's because I don't care.
Right, me too.
Yeah, and I think it's obvious that that's not the case,
Yeah.
but it's certainly not the ceremony that I want to experience for that person. And again, yeah, open caskets, it's just I think that there's a lot to be said, like, there could be a whole other podcast on funerals in general,
Yeah.
but there's a real market for it, it's really been turned into something over centuries,
Right.
and they will always have their place. They're happening every day, and like you said, there are some people who really take something from it, and that's great, but I also think that it's been sold to us over
Mm,
time, and it's something that is this is what you do now. This is the
right.
next step, and
It's become like this is it. This is
the culture
the
of
only way
yeah,
to do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I haven't especially in my family, we did that for my grandpa, and then I think that was kind of it. My dad chose maid, so he passed away in front of us, all of us, the
Mm,
grandkids, kids, everyone. And we had a party like that the night before, the last send off. And then at like 3 p.m. on a Sunday, it happened. And my brother David always tells this hilarious story of like right after. dad died, I don't remember this, but apparently my husband, David, went immediately to the kitchen and started microwaving lasagna to heat up for lunch. Like, it was like, injection, he's passed away. It was like, beep, beep, beep. And I think that that's just, like, the funniest story.
All I can think of right now is, like, everyone's having a moment of silence, and all of a sudden you hear beep, beep, beep.
I'm sure if David hears the story, he'll be like, "No, it happened 10 or 15, whatever," but that's what my brother told me, so that was his experience.
So
I thought
funny.
that that was really funny, and I was like, "Yeah, dad would have also have really enjoyed that." And my dad was actually the first person in my life to say, "I'm never going to funerals," and he was somebody who I remember he started laughing when somebody had died, and he told me that he always laughs when somebody dies.
Right.
And so there's always been like a
Yeah,
not right, like a different type of direction when it comes to that sort of thing. So,
which is fine.
totally fine.
'Cause sometimes I'll just skip the funeral, but I'll go to the supper after or the event they have afterwards.
That's because food brings people
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
Yeah.
Even even my grandpa on my mom's side, like, my grandma had, dementia, and it was really drawn out, like, almost 2 years, and my grandpa took care of her, and then she passed, and then when my grandpa got sick, he didn't like, my grandma got pretty mean, and
Yeah,
he
that
wanted
happens.
nobody to take care of him, so he left to Nicaragua,
Then what
and he
happened?
just partied and hung out and lived
And then
his
did he
last
die?
days in Nicaragua. I was like,
Wow.
"Yeah, that's awesome."
Wow.
Yeah.
That's see, everyone you should
And my
have the
whole life, I never see my grandpa drink,
and he was
ever,
just like,
and then I just see
last
videos of
days.
him dancing, just
How long did he last in Nicaragua before he passed away?
that's a great question, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. My only hope for everybody, and we don't live in this society yet, is that everyone can choose, like, how they
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
It's crazy to me that the government can control how you die.
Can they?
Yeah, because, like, for example, MAID, you can't just get it. You can't just and obviously there's precautions, there has to be rules that you follow, making sure that that's what's happening to you, blah, 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 but it's really restrictive.
Mm,
And I don't even think that it's not even available worldwide. I think it's kind of could be a controversial
great, yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing. So, I think that we as humans deserve the opportunity to go out on our the way that we would hope to. It seems pretty wild that the way that we as a society are like, "God, I hope that happens to me," is you just get older and older and older and older and older and older and older, and then you die. And then, I don't know, it seems really hard to get to that last year, when you're 95. And, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know, it's really interesting. I find death very fascinating,
yeah.
so
But sometimes, like, when I think about it, all of a sudden I'll just be like, "Whoa, this is
yeah.
getting too,"
No, I
like,
know.
I'll feel something, and I'm just
Mhm.
like, oh,
I
because
know.
I do love life.
I love life.
Yeah,
I love life too. Let me make that clear here.
yeah.
I do I do love living.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not saying goodbye.
No,
Yes.
I'm just expressing my views, and I honestly don't know why it always gets there with me, but it always does. Like, I find, like, grief and death, like, so interesting.
So
So,
what do you think happens after? What do you think happens, and what do you hope
that's
happens?
a big question.
Which one?
Both of them.
Yeah.
Well, it's a big question in that, like, I have no idea, but
Yeah.
what do I hope? Like, what do I think? I have no idea. What do I hope? Like, what could I think could possibly be it? I don't know. But what I hope is that I mean, okay, that's a really hard question. Because here's the thing, I, like, love to reflect with, like, spiritual guides, but I also wouldn't wanna be living forever, I don't wanna have an existence for the rest of my life.
Why?
Sounds exhausting.
Are you exhausted right now?
Not right now, but I'm only 37. So give me like another 800 millennia, and yeah, I might be pretty tired.
Or your capacity to handle that will be so big.
Is that what this is all about?
Well,
Yes,
honestly,
you might have
maybe
figured it out.
because okay, I what the heck? What? Anyways, okay, this theory that I read, which sounded pretty sweet, was kind of like you're l- you're living again and again,
Yeah.
and it's like it was talking about how like sometimes you talk to somebody
Mhm.
and you feel just like you guys aren't on the same page.
Yeah.
It's just like nothing you say is
Mhm.
just like what you guys talk about. And it's like you might have just lived more lives
Yeah.
than that person, and then it's just like until you become the person
Yeah.
you're truly supposed to be, and
Yeah.
then you move on.
Can I tell you a story?
Sure.
Okay. About that?
Okay.
Two part. I'm gonna involve you
Sure.
in I'm gonna involve you part 1.
Okay. This is a
After
real story.
well, I don't know. It's a night. One is a real story,
Okay.
and one is an idea that I have about you
Okay.
that may or may not be real. But you were talking about how you have, like, nothing inside of you. You were talking about how you're cool as a cucumber, you got nothing going on up there,
Yeah.
nothing bothers you, okay? Right, so I'm thinking about this, and I'm
Just
thinking about
stone
this.
cold.
It's
Just yes, I can make it happen right now if
your
you want.
tendency is what you're saying. No, but I and then so another way that I was thinking about this, with the help of my friend actually, because I just found it so fascinating. I find you completely fascinating. But what if you have just lived so many lives that you got it. You're at peace. You figured it out before. Maybe you were like a monk twice times over and you've like reached enlightenment and now you're born again as this person you are now, but you still hold those attributes. I know I don't normally bring up past life scenarios with people I just met because
I feel like that's a lot of credit to give someone. On the reverse of that, maybe it's my first life and I just haven't learned enough. I'm just so ignorant to everything that I'm just like
I mean,
at
that's
peace.
definitely like a good way to look at it. Two sides of the coin for sure. It could be both. I would give yourself a little more credit. I find it easier when you're new at something to be a little bit more anxious about the unknown.
Mhm.
If you're not worried about the unknown in any capacity, then maybe it's because you've like been through enough shit
Mm,
where am I allowed to swear on this?
no.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you say whatever you want.
It's like, uh-oh, you're gonna have to roll a few of those back. But I think that and then okay, so part two,
Okay.
period. Done. Part two. You're gonna have to cut this out. But I recently went I like to do some reading, and I was reading about past lives, just interested in the whole idea of it and the experiences that people have had. And it took me a while to feel comfortable with the idea, but I'm like, "I'm gonna do this myself." So I went to a past life hypnotherapist and did a
Mm,
session, one session, and it was truly fascinating. Like, I didn't think that it was working. And I thought, "This isn't working." And then all of a sudden, I, like, looked down at my feet, and I was wearing these workers' boots, like men's working boots, and I was like, "That's weird." And then I, like, kinda went upwards, and I had this thick canvas material on, like, real thick pants of a tradesperson. And then I looked at my hands, and they were man's hands. And I thought, "A man," and I remember thinking to myself, "A man." I don't spiritually identify as a man in any capacity. You know what I mean? I guess I have some masculine tendencies, but, like, for the most part, that's not where I go to. And then I'm not gonna get into the full details of the situation, but in the end, I was okay, no, but get this, it all wraps up. I was a bricklayer. All I did was build places. I just, like, laid brick, mortar, brick, mortar, walked home, went back to work, brick, mortar. And then after all of that was said and done, the main message in my body that was telling me is just, like, just build places for people to go to.
mm.
Yeah, build places for people to go. And I am continuing to do that. And also, I've always felt like I am a working person, I do my duty, I do my job, I'm a worker. I've never been like, "I was a queen in the past life," you know? I've never had that,
How does that go?
like, I don't know, I was never was one, so I don't know.
Okay.
But I was just like, I don't know.
Okay.
But I do identify as a bricklayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, I just think that that's so in regards to what I hope for, I that's a nice idea, right? I think that's a nice idea. A recycling of your spirit,
Mhm.
experiencing new things every time, taking a little piece with you along the way, and just continuing to evolve it or experience it in a different way.
Yeah, find your purpose in a
Mhm.
different way.
Yeah. I mean, that's a beautiful notion, right?
Mhm.
So that's what I believe.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Oh, cute.
the dogs.
Little dachshund. I didn't think I'd see one of those here. There's another one. What is next to you?
That's David's
Oh my god,
parents.
literally, that is David's parents' training class.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was there. I'm like, "Who's this crazy business next to you who's bringing dogs in? Who's this?"
Yeah. I
I know
it's
who it is.
yeah.
I've been a
Ye
part of it.
yep. Yeah. Y yep. So, yeah.
That's funny.
No, that's a nice okay, hypnotherapist. Yeah, even like that'd be interesting. My mom was really good friends with a hypnotist.
Mhm. Like, I'm gonna go on stage and, like,
Yeah,
build
like a
bodies out of
hypnotist.
yeah, okay.
And he would come over. It was wild actually. And never he never was able to do much to me. I was pretty young.
Uh-huh.
He said it's really hard to do to kids, like because they
Okay.
don't have, like, the respect for it, is how he worded it.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, but then, like, my brother and my sister, like, right in our house, like, my sister was, being chased by Voldemort on a broom, and
N
she was just running around the house on a broomstick.
I don't like that.
Yeah, it was wild, and then he told her to explain it to me in her own version of Chinese. So she's just speaking to me in Chinese, explaining to me that
Okay.
she was getting chased by Voldemort, which
That's
was
intense.
wild. And then my older brother too, that he had, X-ray vision,
Mhm.
so he could just see through everyone's clothes, and everyone in the room is his family. But then it was crazy because then he's like, "Okay, you won't remember this till I leave."
Yeah.
Uh, and then, like, we had supper, like, he right when he finished, he's like, "Sorry, it didn't work, but I can come back, try it again."
Mhm.
And we, like, hung out for hours, and my brother just, like, thought it didn't work. And then as soon as he left, as soon as the door closed,
That's
my brother just
wild.
remembered everything.
The power of the mind
I know.
is unbelievable.
It is.
So, like, what's going on in there,
That's
right?
wild.
Also, I don't like to be controlled.
Yeah, that'd
I don't
be
want that.
like, I feel like that guy could
Encode something in you?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree,
and
which is
just,
why I
like
was really not into I was really not into doing hypnotherapy, and then in I was reading that book, and I was like, "I don't know," and then the next page the next page literally said, "Don't be afraid, you're not out of control in this situation." And you don't and I
right.
was never like, "Bark like a dog," I was never, like, barking like a dog, you know? I was just laying there as if I was meditating, and all of a sudden I could see something, but not even visually. You know when you see something in your mind? Well, I don't know if you do, but can you picture something in your mind?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know, in our last conversation, that seemed to be pretty difficult for you, so
It's probably not as clear as other
but
people's.
that's the thing is, like, what I'm saying is, like, if I pictured that blue shirt in front of me and the da 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 da, it's not like I saw a blue shirt in front of me, it was just, like, I don't know, the idea of it, if that makes
Okay,
sense? I
okay.
don't know, it was really weird and fun. And I haven't done it again, and I don't know if I will. I don't know. I don't think I need to take anything else from it at this current time. But,
Right.
you know,
Interesting.
yeah, we should do it sometime.
Yeah, that'd be
Well, you probably wouldn't get anything out of it because you have to well, I shouldn't judge you that harshly, but you kind of have to put in a lot of work to get to that point, you know?
yeah. I don't know. I haven't put much work in.
Maybe it would work though because you were a monk in your past life, so it's just gonna like
Are you putting that on me?
I kind of am. And you know
Okay.
what? It wasn't even it was my friend who said it, and as soon as she said it, I said, "Wow, nailed it." It just felt right.
Is that what you said, actually?
Yeah, I think so. It sounds like something I would say, and I that's how I felt, so I'm pretty sure that's what was said. Yeah.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, well, sh
Oh god, what
should
did
we
I
wrap
even
this up
I
or what?
know, really, it's like, where else could we go from here?
That was good. That was easy.
That was easy.
We're at an hour and 11
Like, that
minutes.
was really fast.
Yeah, simple.
I have no idea what you're gonna take from that situation.
Well, I don't edit them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I just post them full.
Cool.
Cool, yeah. I don't got time to edit these things.
I was gonna say, like, how do you do
No.
this?
I put it through AI.
You should have told
It
me that first.
Sorry. Yeah,
That's okay.
but, it's fine.
No, I believe
I
everything I
The only thing I
said.
edited is some clips
Hmm.
to, like, advertise it, I guess. So, expect that.
That's why I thought that you had it all zip,
Zip, zip, zerp,
yeah,
zip. Yeah, no.
but I bet you didn't expect that you'd be talking about that today.
Which part?
I mean, I would say all of it, to be
Yeah.
honest.
No, that was good.
Good.
You'll have to come back on.
Yeah, if you've got time for me, I've got a lot more to talk about.
If there's anything you wanna say that you didn't get to say, anyone to shout out, anything like that, check out Citizen Cafe.
No, I'm not even gonna they'll find it.
Don't go.
Don't go.
Never mind, I'm sorry.
No, I mean, like, yeah, go to my shop. No, it's good. But I
I
just
wish I knew, but I was supposed to get some pudding, I guess. It's
yeah,
okay.
I'm really sorry, but I actually think I'll probably just drive it over to your house later.
Today?
Yes.
What?
I mean, like, you live in Saskatoon, you're, like, a block away. I can get you pudding, so
A block away?
everywhere in Saskatoon is a block away. Unless you're in Aspen Ridge, then you're just
Oh, yeah.
basically in Aberdeen at that point. But, no, you're close. I'll drop off pudding. It'll just land on your doorstep, and I'll just be like, "Go get it," and then
Okay.
drive away.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome, even though you can't eat
Mm.
it right now.
I can dabble.
Okay, take a
Yeah.
spoonful.
Yeah.
It's a white chocolate vanilla bean pudding.
Perfect. That
Good.
sounds amazing.
Well,
Okay. Thanks for coming.
that was fun.
That was good. We'll end it there.